Today we're going to go over the heights of the three major structures on the Giza Plateau. The height of the Giza Pyramid they calculate to be in its completed form at 481 feet. And they use that calculation by taking the, I forget what they call it, surface stone blocks is what they like to call them. Down at the bottom of the structure there's a few blocks on each side that have a smooth surface before they get to the jagged surface area. And, well, I'm going to leave that there actually. And when they calculate that up and they bring it up to its pinpoint, they say 481 feet. Now, the jagged surface area is actually in just a few inches from that because of how it works, and it would be a point slightly below that. And I do believe that we should probably calculate that out also, because it may be something hidden within the pyramid matrix, the code, as Carl Monk has dictated, and I agree with as far as many of the calculations. And the other thing that is important is the actual height is 455 feet. That is that plateau up here that you see. Again, I like to stress that there is nothing actually missing from the structure. This is how the structure was engineered. But that is 455 feet. Now, I'm not sure if the 455 feet is the highest point, the topmost bridge of the rock, or just the average surface of that. And I do think that that probably will become relevant when we get down into reading the entire structure. But now let's go over to this structure. The second structure, they calculate out to be 471 feet. And again, they calculate that based on the base stones and if you were to bring it up where it would go to. Now, this structure has a few caveats to it, in that from the bottom it jots in actually a good couple of feet and then goes up. So it's actually inlet a little bit from that. So that's one different plateau when you get up there. And up here at the top, this picture doesn't actually illustrate it, but it jots out a little. Now, not as much as this is. So if you follow this up, it would actually plateau at a different point, slightly below where this points to. And then I think it's about 4/5 of the way up there, so somewhere way up there, it jots in a little bit again to actually have another mean height, and that calculates out to be slightly above, just a few feet above this point because of where it is. So it would stick out just a tiny bit, like a little nipple sticking out the top of that if it was a flat surface. So I believe when you get into reading the pyramid matrix how things are minus something because it's missing and they're illustrating that something is missing, that those numbers may become relative when you get into the pyramid matrix. But either way, that is the engineering behind the structure. This is like a little top hat on top of it, which does come, it looks like it was engineered to be a flat surface that, well, you know, I'd really have to get up there and really look at it. Not sure if that's broken or if it was supposed to be a plateau. Again, there could have been messages there. And because this has been struck by lightning, that could just be physical damage from nature and not somebody who scaled up there and took some major piece down without, you know, having big, huge scrape marks or anything in there, but or showing signs of damage of something bouncing down it. But, you know, who knows? Regardless of that, let's those are the points. Oh, and this is said, the top point on here is said to be 448 feet tall. So this, the other structure, the smallest of the three, is again said to be 215 feet. Its actual height is 204 feet. And that, when you look at it, its top step kind of goes up. So if you were to draw a line up to it, it may actually plateau at like 205.25 feet or something, but nowhere near the 215 because it actually does jot in a bunch. There's a bigger step there, and I do believe that all of these measurements, and especially how this one is much closer, wider, and actually even more deviation, well, I don't want to read into it until I know the actual thing. So just want to point out how it is constructed, and later, when I understand the reasons behind for its construction, both in function and in some cases communication, we can get into that. But that is my understanding of the constructions and measurements of these structures. And if I've made any mistake, I urge someone to please correct me. I would love to see your information because my goal is to accurately reverse engineer these structures, and can't really accurately reverse engineer them till you actually accurately understand their true configuration. Thank you.